So, Season 8, Episode 1, the long-awaited season premiere of Game of Thrones is officially behind us, and I am here to offer up my initial thoughts, my instant reaction, if you will. Like I said in the last video that I put out, I aim to do 2 videos per week, covering each episode as it airs. The first of which would be an instant reaction, unscripted. I haven't really had a lot of time to let things sink in, but here I am. And I, full disclosure, this is not as instant as I wanted it to be. Leave it to me to be completely unprepared, even though I've had all the time in the world to prepare. Up until earlier today, I had no idea how I was actually going to do this whole thing, the initial reaction. And the first thing that I tried to do was, in the form of a live stream on Facebook. And then I thought maybe, I would just upload that, video here on YouTube after the fact. Well, it was a train wreck. Nothing went according to plan. I couldn't do an instant tape because I couldn't even watch the episode until like 9:45, 45 minutes after it aired, because I couldn't get my kid to go to bed. Normally his bedtime is like 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest. And today, of course, of all days, he decided to sleep in till like fucking 10 a.m. and I let him because I'm an asshole. I was out too late last night and I slept in myself. So nevertheless, he was up super late. I got a late start on the video. Dealt with some other bullshit after the fact, and so here I am. Way later, I think it's like 1 a.m. now, and I'm finally getting around to doing a proper video. Yeah, it's supposed to be an instant take, it's supposed to be raw, but it ain't supposed to be so raw that I totally fucking shit the bed in a live stream on Facebook and put something completely unwatchable and boring out. I didn't have to mention any of this to any of you, and I'm doing it anyway, so whatever, here we are. Anyway, about the episode, I thought it was just it was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't fantastic. It had some fantastic moments, and it had some less than good moments. I won't say terrible. Nothing about it really was terrible, but there was some shit that annoyed me. And I guess we'll start there. I'll just start with the bad stuff, the stuff that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. Chief among them was a lot of the mean mugging. I don't know. We had Sansa. We had little Lyanna Mormont. A lot of shit looks, and it just fucking irritated me. I don't know. Look, Jon has proven himself to be trustworthy, reliable, time and time again. The threat is very real. They all know it. Yet still, I mean, look, I understand a little bit of skepticism. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, I don't know. Again, it was heavy-handed. It was very obvious. It was on full display, especially from little Lyanna, who is, I don't know, at this point is fucking walking that fine line, venturing into Ollie territory for me if she goes much further. I'll be honest. Just like Ollie, she's a kid. I know we got to cut her some slack, but hey, she's been shown to be, the head of her house. You shouldn't underestimate her. At the same time, I don't know. I know it's petty. Maybe it's petty of me to be so irked by like the real fucking tough guy shots, but I don't know. Just look, yeah, you named him your king. He didn't ask for it. You got to trust in his decisions, and here you are, just fucking pissing on his foot the moment he gets back to Winterfell. It's fucking cool your tits. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't really say that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't even know if she has tits, but be that as it may, I'm not going to get hung up on that fucking. Now I feel like I've derailed the video. But I'm going to persevere. Okay. Anyway, Sansa, it's more of the same, fucking staring Daenerys up and down, which again is to be expected. But, and she, to her credit, she does eventually kind of let it go and she's on Jon's side at the end of it, but still. Another thing that I found to be heavy-handed was some of the humor, which, look, there's always a place for a little bit of humor in Game of Thrones. It's always been there, and that's fine. But it was just stupid, okay? Starting with Tyrion and Varys, how many times are they going to fucking have this fucking ping-pong match of, you're a fucking eunuch and have no balls, nuck, 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 and yeah, you're a dwarf, nuck, nuck, nuck. It's just fucking, all right, that horse is vapor at this point. We could do without the fucking eunuch and dwarf jokes. I wish they would just fucking bury that shit along with all the dead Starks in the crypts of Winterfell at this point. Jon, being skittish around the dragon, worrying about getting, what if he doesn't want me to? That's fine. I didn't really have a problem with that. But, Dolores Ed worried about the color of Tormund's eyes was a little ridiculous to me. That moment felt like a fucking cartoon. I don't know. I God bless Tormund. I love him to death. But that scene was just fucking stupid to me. I know that Dolores Ed is not supposed to be on the level of a Littlefinger or a Varys or a Tywin Lannister in terms of intelligence, but I don't think he's supposed to be a complete fucking dope, is he? I don't know. So that I could have done without. Again, it made it feel like a fucking cartoon. It was kind of just real silly. And, maybe I won't put this on the level of what I just mentioned, but some of the reunions just fell a little flat for me. I don't know. I don't think any of it totally sucked or shit the bed, but for whatever reason, and again, this is the instant take. I only caught the episode once, and I'll have to kind of rewatch it and see if I can figure it out. But for whatever reason, Tyrion and Sansa's reunion just fell flat for me. I don't know, I can't really explain why. I just really didn't feel a whole lot when they were reunited. And it's been a long time, and these are both characters who have endured a lot. We're on their team. I feel, I, as well as many others, feel very strongly about both of those characters, but for whatever reason, that scene just didn't do it for me. Jon's reunion, on the other hand, with Bran, it was nice for a brief moment when they first laid eyes on each other. You did get a little glimpse into Bran's humanity, maybe. He emoted a little before he went straight back to being a fucking, robot. We don't have time for this. The Night King's breaching the walls. I don't know. It's just, I remember reading an interview with Isaac Hempstead, right, that we were going to get a little more of a window into Bran's humanity. He wasn't going to be so robotic, but I don't know. He just, again, the rest of the episode, he comes off like a fucking potato. So I don't know that, and it is what it is. He's a three-eyed raven, but I don't know. I'm not really sold. I don't think that the actor did the best job with some of the dialogue. So some of the acting was kind of hit and miss for me in this episode. What wasn't such a hit, what wasn't such a miss, much more of a hit was Arya and Jon. Their reunion, I thought they sold that pretty well. It was nice to see them back on screen together, kind of showing each other she still got Needle. He was happy to see that, and then him kind of showing her Longclaw there, and obviously she was impressed with it. She always wanted some Valyrian steel, like the Hound. So that was a good reunion. And speaking of Arya, I have to give Maisie Williams some mad props on her fucking acting abilities in this episode, especially in the very first scene, where we have the little kid running through the streets of Wintertown, climbing up to get a better view, obviously hearkening back to season 1, episode 1, when it was Arya and Bran doing all the running around trying to get the better view. So that was kind of a nice little, nod, whatever. But the look on her face, like the acting she did just strictly through, emoting through facial expressions when she first locks eyes on, well, I shouldn't say locks eyes, when she catches sight of Jon, you can see it's a really big moment for her, and Maisie Williams really sold that. And then, of course, the immediate transition to the Hound, very, very different look. And then, of course, Gendry immediately after that. She hasn't seen him in fucking ages. And, of course, so that was another reunion that I did think it was nice. The reunions that Arya had in this episode were pretty good. Some of the other moments that I felt were just kind of, meh, didn't really care, could take or leave, was with the Greyjoys. I've never been a big Euron fan, so most of his scenes I don't care about Euron, I don't care about Yara at this point. I don't feel that Yara is going to have a particularly large role to play. It was nice to see her get rescued. It was nice to see Theon finally step up and execute the game plan that she tried to execute back, when he was being held prisoner by Ramsay. So that's cool. We know that Theon is now headed to Winterfell. Yara is going to sail back to the Iron Isles. I don't know if we're going to see Yara again. And I really don't care. I don't really care about the whole Greyjoy stuff. At this stage in the game, we've only got a few episodes left in the entire series, and there's much bigger players on the field right now. So, whatever. Euron's whole thing with Cersei, fine. I don't know. We got the Golden Company obviously showing up. We're not going to get the elephants, evidently, which is kind of a little bit of a letdown. I know it's probably a bigger letdown to some than it is to me. I didn't really expect it, given the fact that we have dragons and direwolves and White Walkers and whites, and given the scale of the battle that we're gonna get at Winterfell a couple episodes from now, I don't really see a lot in the budget for fucking elephants being thrown into the mix. So I'm not too surprised. I'm not too let down. I am glad that she mentioned it, at least. That she was expecting the elephants, and of course it makes sense. It's perfectly logical that it's not the easiest thing in the world to transport an army of elephants across a fucking ocean. Lena Headey, of course, always a scene stealer. I think Lena Headey is the best actor on the show, so there's not ever going to be a scene that she's in that's going to be completely boring or dull. But again, I guess it's kind of interesting to see that she did allow Euron to slither his way into the sack with her. Evidently, she's into really arrogant assholes, as she says, but obviously her face tells a different story. After he leaves the room, we see her drinking the wine. Is she pregnant, in fact? Would she be drinking? Were she pregnant? Now, Cersei, she's not ever going to win, like, Mother of the Year award, ever. So it wouldn't be a total shocker to see her drinking whilst pregnant, but at the same time, I've never really believed that she was pregnant in the first place. I think that was just a ploy to manipulate her brothers. That's a whole other story. I'm not going to get into that now. As far as her issuing the proposal to Bronn to execute both Jaime and Tyrion, I don't know if I'm sold that that's actually her proposal, or if that might be coming from somewhere else. I have no idea where else it would come from, but something feels a little bit off there. I don't know. Well, again, we'll see. I'll do, upon subsequent watches, I'll have probably a little bit better of a take on it. For now, I'll just say we'll see. We'll see. It would seem out of character even for Bronn to go ahead and follow through on that, but again, here's looking to the future on that. As far as what I really did like about the episode, I felt like, along with, Arya's, the acting that Maisie Williams did, the initial introduction of the dragons in Winterfell, I thought that the reaction of the masses was pretty neat. I really enjoyed that. That was kind of a big emotional moment, for all of those people of the North to finally catch sight of these fucking magnificent beasts. That was really cool. That was definitely a thumbs up moment. Samwell Tarly getting the news that from the source itself that his father and brother were both executed. A remarkable job by John Bradley as an actor. I thought he nailed it. Not a lot of dialogue. Again, much like I was talking about with Maisie Williams earlier. Just you could see it in his face. Obviously, the tears started coming. I started fucking welling up. I could feel myself really feel for Samwell Tarly in that moment. And it was rough. I actually felt for all three characters, Jorah, Dany, and Sam. That was just such a fucking heavy moment, and he sold it so well. Obviously, he took the news a lot harder about the passing of his brother than he did for his father, but it's still his father. He still took that pretty tough too. But look, you can have a tenuous relationship with a family member, but they're still family, and it's going to be rough hearing that they went out in the way that they did. So that was definitely a high point of the episode. And then, of course, immediately after that scene, we had, Sam meeting with Bran sending him off to go inform Jon of his true parentage, which I thought was the best moment of the episode to me. Kit Harington, another one. I mean, I wouldn't put Kit Harington on the same level of John Bradley, or especially like, Lena Headey. But he's certainly not a bad actor, but he really, I thought, sold the fucking emotional weight of it. And I think he's gotten better and better as the seasons have gone on. He's always been a good performer when it comes to the action scenes. He's always taken, I remember reading before that dude has really taken to like a lot of the sword play, and again the whole action sequences. He really has just fucking given everything that he's had to those scenes, and it's shown. So he's always been a great actor in that regard. But being able to just fucking convey emotion, to convey the weight of the information that he had been presented with from a trusted source, from one of his best friends, it did a lot for me, and I thought that was a fucking, again, the best moment of the episode. Other than that, I guess we had Jamie finally arriving at Winterfell, laying eyes on Bran, the fucking potato, and again, I feel like a broken record here. Just the level of emotion, the quality of the acting that these people are able to produce just through facial expressions. So Nikolai Coster-Waldau, I never know how to say that fucking name right. Jamie fucking Lannister, okay, the guy who plays Jamie, did a fucking remarkable job. Now I think that he's probably worried more than he has to be. I think, obviously, we're going to see, and if you watch the preview for next week, we're going to see him kind of on trial, as it were, in front of the Starks. And they have every right, of course, to be, skeptical of him, to say the least. All right. But I think it'll be Bran, oddly enough, who will be his saving grace. Bran being the three-eyed raven, he's going to be able to shed a lot of light on the true nature of Jamie, what he's all about, and some of the heroic and noble things that he's done. And if you've seen the trailers for the season, we see him on the battlements of Winterfell fighting alongside the Starks, and also I think that's all going to be fine, of course. So, but that's about it. I'm gonna let this one go at that point, because it's getting late. I'm getting loopy. I'm starting to fucking lose my fucking train of thought, as you may have been able to fucking figure out by now. And I'll say that I'm looking forward to seeing you midweek, like I said, with a more detailed analysis. And hopefully moving forward with these instant takes, I'll have it together a little more. I'm going to try to do the live stream thing again, I think, on Facebook. So if you watch these videos there, look for this to come out, if you give a shit, after the episode airs. I'm going to try to be on top of it a little closer to the 10 o'clock mark. We'll see. Or whenever the episode ends. I know some of these episodes probably aren't going to be ending till closer to 10:30, 11 moving forward. So we'll see. But that's it. Thanks for watching, if you bothered to stay with me this far, and I'll see you then.